So today our lesson is on cleanliness. Here's a little poem to start our time here. Have you ever heard the story of the boy who cleaned his room? He went in when his mother said a consequence would loom. Reluctant and begrudging, he walked into the mess. Heaps of books and clothing and mountains of excess. Don't come out till it's tidy, his mother sternly said. It's been so long, the boy's been gone. He's in over his head. And we're going to listen to Give Us Clean Hands by Chris Tomlin.
He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who does not lift up his soul to what is false and does not swear deceitfully, he will receive blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the God of our salvation. Coming from Psalms 24, 4 through 5. While many people have been known to equate cleanliness with godliness, most Bible references related to being clean or pure are more connected to our hearts, minds, and actions than our physical bodies. Yes, keeping clean can help us stay healthy, and this is one of the reasons God laid out very clear instructions to the Israelites about how they should cleanse themselves. However, more important than anything else is the state of a heart and a soul, the secret thoughts you have, the way you act, and the things that roll off your tongue, the intentions and motivations of your heart, and the things you watch or read are far more important than with far greater consequences to our well-being. The psalmist David desired so much to be clean before God that he sang out, "Search me, O God, and know my heart." Psalms 139:23. This is a bold prayer, as not everyone wants to hear the answers. Take some time and pray quietly and ask God to search you and know you. Journal or discuss what you felt God was saying to you and what you are going to do about what He brings to your mind.
Mike, can we get Mr. Softies?
Who's he get it from?
When you live off the land, getting clean is often more challenging than a concrete jungle with utilities. Things that show up on the grocery store shelves or appear with the touch of a button or twist of a knob take a lot more planning and forethought in the great outdoors. Water might have been hauled and heated over a fire or wood stove. Soap might have to be made or done without. And cleaning your teeth could require you to think outside the box. And this is exactly what it was like for the early pioneers we have been talking about throughout this unit. Remember, many people migrated out west, all from different backgrounds and cultures. There were opposing views on the definition of clean. Many early settlers considered clean hands, faces, sheets, and undergarments as the most integral ways to maintain personal hygiene. Some might go months without taking a bath, while other families would bathe once a week. Even today, there are different definitions of what clean is. One person might consider only the most pristine conditions with nothing out of place to meet their standards, while someone else may feel stifled in that kind of environment. Some people shower daily, while others shower once or twice a week. It is important, as we view the concept of cleanliness and hygiene, that we consider both what is healthy and what is important for us, while respecting that these concepts might be different for someone else. Personal hygiene is important, and everyone's body is made differently. So let's take a little bit of time here to discuss hygiene as a family and what we think is clean and healthy. Do we all agree? What do you think? Take a bath once a month? Once every 2 months? Once a week? Discuss encountering those who might not carry the same values or priorities. Some people don't wash their hair every day. That might be okay for them. I don't know. Okay, cleaning the house. Cleaning a house during pioneer times largely depended on what type of house they had. In the first few years, many families lived in simple one-room cabins with dirt floors. With nothing but dirt, there wasn't much need for sweeping or mopping. Cooking oil or washing water might be poured over the dirt floors to help keep the dust down. Once they upgraded to their main house, remember we talked about how they would first build a smaller house, and then so they would have a place for winter, and then they started working on a bigger house. So once they had a bigger house, a lot of times they would have wooden floors, and they swept and scrubbed them to keep them clean and as white or as light as possible. Brooms were made of different types of grasses or weeds, lashed together and trimmed. The kitchen was a place to be on a homestead. This is where a lot of family life happened, from cooking and eating to brushing your teeth, shaving, cutting your hair, or using the family bath. Usually, the warmest room in the house, the kitchen, was like the beating heart of the home. Lighter and brighter colors gave the appearance of cleanliness. Because of this, some families glued newspaper to their ceiling to brighten them up, kind of like the first wallpaper. I didn't know that. They would scrub the wooden floors with rough brooms or homemade brushes and lye to lighten them up, and sometimes rubbed them with crushed rock to make them shine. With no refrigerators, food was covered to keep off invading insects, such as cockroaches or ants, were kept away by sprinkling spicy cayenne pepper around the edges of the house. And bed bugs were killed with a mixture of alcohol, camphor, and turpentine. Fresh air was believed to be cleansing, so bedding was often hung to air out.
Wait, let me get it where I can read it. Okay, we're going to talk about making soap. When you think of soap, what comes to mind? Bars of soap from the shower, foaming hand soap with a pleasing aroma. Dish soap you squirt into your dishwater. Liquid or powder detergent for your laundry machine. Body wash, shampoo, dishwasher detergent. In the early years of settling, there was one type of soap, and it was made from scratch. Not my chicken. A combination of lye and lard. It was processed during butchering season, and enough was made to last the entire year. It didn't smell like vanilla cookies or pumpkin pie, and didn't taste very good if it had been left on the dish, and it could be quite damaging. The process of making soap has been combining fat with lye still remains. Let's take a look at how it was done. Lye was made from wood ashes that were placed in a large hopper or barrel with water poured over it. It was quite toxic and could eat through or dissolve many metals such as tin. The lye was mixed with lard, which was made from melting animal fat during butchering. Doesn't sound too swell, does it? It took about 12 pounds of fat and a large wooden barrel of ashes to make 40 pounds of soap, which was how much most families needed to make them last a year. Once it turned out into a gel, they poured it into crocks or jars, and it was then used to wash their hands and do laundry. If they wanted to make a bar, they let it cook longer until it was very thick and poured it into these wooden trays where it was smoothed out and left to cure for about a month. Once it was hard, it could be cut into squares. It looked kind of like ice cube trays where they poured them in, but they were bigger. Now we're going to talk about dental hygiene, which means cleaning your teeth. Cleaning your teeth was not quite the same priority in the 19th century as it is now. Part of this was because they didn't have the same knowledge we have today. However, it was also because they didn't eat the same processed foods that we eat now. Before stores made their way out west, the best way to a healthy set of teeth was to eat a healthy diet. Toothbrushes could be made from sticks that had the ends frayed to make a soft brush to clean away plaque. Small sticks might be used to pick food or meat from between their teeth. Teeth could also be cleaned by rubbing them with a wood ash or salt. As time went on, the field of dentistry became more commonplace, and toothbrushes and toothpaste were used when available. And this is a neat thing for a pioneer toothpaste recipe, and I'm sure all of you are going to want to have this.
What do it make some?
Charcoal, gum, myrrh, or chalk, Castile soap, white sugar, Peruvian bark, pumice stone, lemon oil, lavender oil, orris root, and calamine.
Sugar for toothpaste?
Yeah. Wash water. Well, this is, I guess, for laundry and stuff. Laundry and dishes had to be done by hauling in water. After the meals, the dishes were washed by heating water in a kettle or cauldron on the stove or over the fire. 2 pans were used, one for washing and the other for scalding. The lye soap was put into the washing pan, and the dishes were washed in the cloudy water and then boiled in the scalding pan of water to rinse off the soap. After this, they were dried and often put right back out on the table, ready for the next meal. Laundry was done for less often because it was a big chore. Clothes and bedding were gathered and sorted just like we do today. Stains could be pre-treated by placing lye soap directly onto them to absorb grease. The clothes were soaked in a soapy warm water for a pre-soak cycle, sometimes for up to 1 or 2 days, depending on how dirty they were. From here, they were transferred to a warm cauldron of soapy water and scrubbed with lye soap on a washboard before being wrung out and rinsed. Lastly, clothing and bedding were placed into a boiling pot of water to kill any lice and remove the harsh soap. Clothing was stirred with a large paddle-like stick called a dolly that agitated the clothes to make sure the soap was evenly distributed or equally rinsed. With all the boiling, rinsing, washing, stirring, and scrubbing behind them, our hard-working pioneers' family would transfer their wash to a clothesline, using wooden clothespin or simply hanging them over the line if they had none on hand. The clothes were left to air dry. Over time, the sun would bleach the clothes, causing them to fade and lose their color. To preserve their vibrancy, colorful dresses or clothing were hung in the shade, mainly because the sun will fade garments. It'll even fade garments today. And you guys know that because you probably have left your bathing suit out in the sun and it will fade it. Or towels, yeah, really. Today, cleaning is much easier with mops, buckets, washers and dryers, dishwashers, and even different ways that houses are built with easier to clean floors, counters, and tables. All the time, new inventions and ideas are coming forward to improve upon the efficiency and effectiveness of cleaning practice and make it maybe a little less daunting. For those who still live off the land or choose to be self-sufficient, cleaning remains a large chore with many more steps. For some, this simple way of living brings a sense of peace in a busy world. What do you think about it?